Margaret Thompson never expected to be humiliated that day. At 76, she had spent her life taking care of others, raising her son as a single mother, working long hours as a schoolteacher, and always choosing kindness in a world that sometimes lacked it. But the world wasn't always kind in return. She had walked into Thompson's Auto, a luxury dealership she had passed by many times but never entered. Her old sedan had finally given out, and she wanted to see if they had any pre-owned vehicles within her modest budget. The moment she stepped inside, dressed in her well-worn cardigan and scuffed shoes, she felt the cold stares of the staff. A salesman approached, not with a greeting but a skeptical glance. "Ma'am, are you lost?" he asked, forcing a polite smile. Margaret straightened her posture. "No, I'd like to see your selection of pre-owned cars." The salesman sighed, glancing at his colleagues. "We don't have anything in your price range," he said dismissively. "I haven't told you my price range yet," she replied. He chuckled. "Trust me, our cars are out of your budget." Margaret's face burned with embarrassment. "I'd still like to look." But before she could take another step, the manager appeared, wearing an expensive suit and an expression of pure annoyance. "Ma'am, we cater to a certain clientele here," he said curtly. "I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Margaret's heart sank. The humiliation was unbearable. Without another word, she turned and walked out, her dignity intact despite the sting of rejection. The next day, an unfamiliar car pulled up to the dealership, an elegant, black Rolls-Royce. A tall, impeccably dressed man stepped out. James Thompson, billionaire entrepreneur and CEO of one of the largest tech firms in the country, strode inside with quiet authority. The same salesman who had dismissed Margaret the day before greeted him with enthusiasm. "Mr. Thompson. It's an honor. Are you looking for something special today?" James surveyed the dealership. His sharp eyes took in every detail, the marble floors, the crystal chandeliers, the very same faces that had looked down on his mother. "I am," he said. "I'd like to buy the dealership." The manager nearly choked. "The whole dealership, sir." James smiled. "Every inch of it." Within hours, the paperwork was signed. James Thompson was now the sole owner of Thompson's Auto. And then, with measured steps, he turned to the stunned staff. "You see," he said, his voice calm but commanding, "yesterday, my mother walked into this dealership looking for a car. And instead of being treated with respect, she was humiliated and thrown out." The color drained from the manager's face. James continued, "My mother taught me everything I know about hard work, kindness, and integrity. And yet, you judged her by her appearance, not her worth." Silence filled the room. No one dared to speak. Effective immediately, James announced, "This dealership will be under new management. A management that treats every customer, regardless of their background, with dignity. And as for those of you who failed to do so yesterday, you no longer work here." The stunned employees watched as security escorted them out. The remaining staff, those who had watched in discomfort but had said nothing, stood frozen, grateful to still have jobs but deeply humbled. Finally, James turned to the receptionist. "Call my mother," he said, his voice softer now. "Tell her her new car is ready. And let her pick whichever one she wants." Margaret arrived an hour later, still in disbelief, as her son handed her the keys to a beautiful new sedan. But what mattered more than the car was the lesson that had been taught that day, that kindness should never be mistaken for weakness, and that true wealth is measured not in dollars, but in dignity and respect. As Margaret drove off, her heart full, James stood watching, knowing he had repaid, in the smallest way, the endless sacrifices she had made for him. And somewhere, in that very moment, the world became just a little bit better. Here's your inspiring and heartfelt story. Let me know if you'd like any refinements.